Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. If you are new here, hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to another one of my videos. Thank you for tuning into my video. My name is Lenice and I am a registered nurse and I do these cool little nursing videos. If you are not new here, thank you for tuning in to another one of my videos because you did not have to watch this, but you came and you're here and I really appreciate you. So if you are not new to my channel, you're used to just seeing me, but today I have my friend Danita. Danita is also a nurse in the Charlotte area and we talk all the time. Danita is a co-worker turned friend, so we talk all the time about how we are just mistreated as nurses, and we talk about the pay all the time. So I figured I had a subscriber ask like 2 months ago for me to talk about nursing pay in Charlotte and the lifestyle, and I felt like it would be no better person than to discuss this than with somebody else. That way y'all can get a different perspective on like the cost of living in Charlotte and how it feels to be a nurse here in Charlotte, because me and Danita have two very different like lives. I'm a parent, she's single, so we figured it would be great for you guys to get two perspectives. So hello, Danita.
Hi, everyone. Y'all go easy on me. I don't usually do this.
You're gonna do fine. Okay, so Danita, we can go ahead and start with, we just tell the people about you as far as like your nursing experience and what you do.
Okay, so I've been a nurse for almost 3 years now. And the entire 3 years, I would say, I've worked in Charlotte, or I've lived in Charlotte rather, as a nurse. So me and Lenice met my first year of nursing. We both started on the cardiac telemetry unit, and that's where we first met. Now we both left the same time to go travel.
Yep.
And
you did good traveling too. She did good. She had good experiences.
I traveled for a year, and the money was great.
Okay.
It was really different from when I first started nursing as far as pay wise, because I was used to making, you know, that fresh nurse pay money, and it was not it, especially with me just moving to Charlotte when I started nursing. So
can I interject real quick? Yeah. Do you mind telling people what you started off with? You started nursing in 2020 in the heat of the pandemic. What did they start you off with?
They started me with a whopping, if I remember correctly, $26 an hour.
Yeah. Okay. I was somewhere around there too. I think they gave me like an extra 80 cents just because I had some LPN experience, but it wasn't much after that. And in the first year, I feel like they gave us a $2 raise in that first year.
Yeah, because when I left, it might have been, I think we might have had like 2 raises, because when I left, I remember I was making $29 an hour.
Oh wow, you was doing good.
I do remember that, because I think when I was checking to see if we got our increase, I had looked and it was like $29 was like my last increase.
So how much were you making when you were traveling?
When I first started my very first contract, I was making $80 an hour. Woo! And that was just
damn. She was rich.
That was my hourly pay. So then, you know, traveling too,
yeah,
we get our stipend.
Oh my God, dang! She was feel like, oh,
you couldn't tell me nothing. Like I was like, seeing my money, seeing my savings increase, and still being able to do stuff.
Right.
So I was like, yes, this is it.
Yeah, I felt like that, and I was not making $80 an hour. I think after taxes and everything, I know I was getting $3,200 a week if I didn't pick up any extra shifts just for 3 days. I can't remember like the amount I was making, but that was in Texas, and I had a good little situation because I was staying with my grandma there too, so that was nice. But that was quickly, it started like to change. So when did it start to change for you as far as traveling?
So my last contract, so I think I made $80 an hour my first 2 contracts when I was working in South Carolina. And so my last 2 contracts were in North Carolina, and the second to last one, they dropped my rate once. So I went from making 80 to maybe like between 60 and 70. I can't remember exactly what it was. So I was like, okay. And then I remember I was re-signing, and I told my recruiter specifically, I said, I will only re-sign if I can get this same rate. Like, I'm not re-signing for a low rate. And she was like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, it's the same rate, blah, blah, blah. Kid you not, a week later, she was like, yeah, they dropped your rate to
These
50.
hospitals are ruthless.
They dropped my rate to $50 an hour. But, you know, I was like,
excuse me,
I still get my stipend. So, you know, I was still bringing home close to $3,000 a week.
Okay.
With that drop. So I was like, I can manage.
Okay. So then after you stopped traveling, what did you transition into?
So now I currently work in Charlotte per diem or PRN as needed. If I don't know if y'all know those definitions or not, but
Most of the people probably do.
I make my own schedule. I work basically when I want to, and I get like a flat rate of $50 an hour, no stipend.
So do you feel like the freedom of creating your own schedule is worth not traveling anymore?
So you know, a lot of the TikTok girlies say that
right.
with travel, like you have like the freedom of schedule, but I really didn't have that with either of my contracts. I was real restricted with my contracts. Like I still had to work every other weekend. I could never get block scheduling with either of my contracts. Like they never went for that with me. So with PRN, I really have freedom of schedule. Like if I only want to work one day this week, I'm only going to work one day this week.
Yeah.
If I want to work more, I can work more.
Yeah.
So for where I'm at right now in my current mind state, yeah, the freedom is worth it to me because you already know I don't want to work anyway.
Right. Yeah. Danita don't want to work, y'all. It's okay. I want to be a housewife one day too.
One day.
But okay, so you got freedom on the job and you're currently making $50 an hour. So what would you say you see as far as like a decrease? Like, so you're basically, what was the pay cut for you whenever you went from traveling to PRN?
So my hourly is still the same as what my last contract was, but really like that stipend really helped.
Yeah.
And
a lot,
really
because it's tax free.
Because it's tax free, and it was, I think my stipend was maybe like $1,000. So where I was working 3 days a week, $50 an hour, I was making like I think gross is like $2,600. Y'all don't. I can't do math in my head.
It's
so
all
y'all
good.
check that. But then with my stipend being a little over $1,000, that was still getting me like $3,000 a week.
Yeah. And so now, how many days do you have to work to try to get that? Girl, I thought I have to work at least to get a paycheck. I'm not PRN, so me and Danita still work for the same hospital system, but me personally, I have to work full time because with my situation, I need health insurance benefits. Danita, she's able to get benefits. Would you mind sharing that? That you able to get benefits?
Yeah, so after my first contract, I took a few weeks off and I had insurance through them. And when it lapsed, I was like, well, you know, maybe I should look into some other avenues of insurance because I don't want to work. So if I want to take some time off, I still want to be able to have insurance. So I ended up going the private insurance route. I was paying like over $400 for insurance, but this year I found some new insurance and I only pay maybe like $380.
Okay, so do you feel like you saw a big difference in your pay of benefits between like traveling or working full time and having to pay out of pocket?
So you know, when you work full time, they take it from your gross, I believe.
Yeah.
So you never see it.
You never see it.
So that's the difference. I feel like it's very comparable.
Yeah.
If I'm saying that right?
It is, because I pay about the same for me and Lariah. I pay like $150 a paycheck.
Right. So I think it's like, it's very comparable, but it's just, I see it now. So it's like it's something that I have to pay after I get paid. So it's not coming out of my gross, it's coming out of my net. So I have to factor it into my budget.
And so, but I work full time, so I have to work 36 hours a week. I do have a lot of flexibility in my schedule. I think what you were saying, like what the travel girlies were saying, they have a lot of flexibility in their schedule. I think it's more so you have flexibility in your schedule because you can decide to take a contract for the next 13 weeks, or you can decide to take a month off if you've saved your money. But once you get a contract, I don't think it's flexible for anybody because you're at the hospital's beck and call. You're filling in a hole for them, which means you have to basically be treated just like the floor nurses. And being a floor nurse, they gotta work those damn every other weekends most places. Which with we're float nurses, so with our positions, we don't have to work every other weekend. Since she's PRN, how many weekends do you have to work?
So I have to just work one Saturday and one Sunday in a scheduled period.
Yes, and I have to work 2 Saturdays or two Saturdays and 2 Sundays, or at least 4 weekend shifts in a 6-week period. So that comes out to me working about 2 full weekends within 6 weeks. And although I would like to completely give up weekends, sometimes working a weekend does work for me in my situation, because I don't have to worry about who's going to take my daughter to school. She's at home, and I can go to work. So sometimes weekends aren't bad for me. But I forgot where I was going with this. But so for me, once I stopped traveling, I think I didn't get like those really high paying contracts. When I was in Texas, like I said, I think I was getting like $3,200. And then when I came here and I was here in North Carolina, the first contract that did not work out for me, I think was about the same thing, like $3,200. And then after that, I went to Atlanta, and they were only paying me, I want to say like $2,800. Yeah, but it just worked out because I had a friend I could stay with when I was there too. So it wasn't, I wasn't really, I still felt like I was losing money. I still definitely saw it. But it was still much more than what I'm making currently at the hospital. So my base pay right now, because I never left the hospital, Danita, she was smart enough to leave and come back. So when she got rehired, she got a better position and she got good money. I never left, but when I transitioned into the float position, I did get a $15 pay incentive, or like an hourly rate to add to my base rate. So I'm making right now, after my whole $1.71 raise I got last week, I'm making about $51 and some change right now with that. But after taxes, after insurance, after 401k, after eating in the cafeteria, payroll deduction, after all of that, in order for me to get a check that's like $3,000, I have to have work, I want to say at least 4 days a week. If they're offering double pay, it's a little bit easier, but they haven't been giving us any double pay lately. Like you have to just, God has to play an intricate part in getting you some double pay right now. Like it doesn't just happen freely. So,
and also I want to say too, you said that you have to work 4 days a week to bring home a $3,000 check. We were getting $3,000 checks every week.
Right.
Now we have to work just 4 days for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks.
To get a $3,000 check every 2 weeks. So it's really just like, first of all, for me, when I stopped traveling, it was like a shock. Like,
yeah,
wait a minute.
It's hard out here.
Where is my money?
Yeah.
And then it was like another shock. It was like, I'm only getting a check twice a month. And or to get anywhere close to what I was making in just 1 week, I have to work double. I'm just really not here for it.
It's not fun. It's not fun. No, and I feel like if I would have never left to travel, I would have never, one, increased my lifestyle. And I wouldn't have like, I just wouldn't have known what it felt like. So I would be feeling like I'm doing better now that I got this position, because we only get paid this much because we float. If you were a hospital nurse, like a floor nurse, and you're not a traveler in Charlotte, you're probably getting paid around, we probably should look this up, but no more than $32. I know this year they started nurses off at $30 an hour, I think, at the hospital that we work at, from what I heard. I haven't seen it on paper myself. And then if you've been there a couple of years, you might be around $35, $36 after a couple of years. So you have to work even more than that, because you're not getting that float pay. So it's like, as a single parent and as a single individual, it is hard to work as a nurse and get paid and really like live a decent lifestyle in the city of Charlotte. Even though you read stuff that says the cost of living is low in Charlotte compared to maybe New York, California, Florida, yes. Atlanta, maybe even. I think Atlanta's kind of doable. Atlanta and Charlotte kind of running neck and neck. But in order to live, it is expensive. So before I moved to the home that I'm renting currently, my 2-bedroom apartment, when I first moved to Charlotte, I want to say was $1,200. I moved to Charlotte in 2020. When did you move to Charlotte? So I moved into 2020. I want to say I was paying about $1,200. I stayed there for 2 years, and by the time I left, I think my rent had went up to $1,380. It was on the south side of town, so it was a lot of traffic off of 77, always trying to get home. But it was a decent apartment, but it wasn't what is considered luxury at all. Still had a black refrigerator. Nene Leaks would definitely come and roast me. It was just, it was decent. It definitely got the job done, but that's just on the outskirts of Charlotte. So your first apartment?
My first apartment, I lived in North Charlotte. So in between, I guess what would be the center of Charlotte and Concord, basically. Mm-hmm. And my apartment was a 1-bedroom mm-hmm. in a gated complex.
Oh yeah,
because as she keeps mentioning, I am single, and right. that was important to me, just safety. So it was a gated community, and my 1-bedroom was, I want to say, like around $1,100
for a 1-bedroom apartment.
2020.
So, and then sometimes going from a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom doesn't make much of a difference. It's just that initial, just getting an apartment is expensive in the city of Charlotte. So, making $36 an hour and having to pay at least, I want to say, moving to Charlotte, if you're going to get a 1-bedroom apartment that is not luxury, it's nowhere near downtown, it is, might not be gated, you got to look at spending at least $1,000, at least $1,100 for a decent 1-bedroom apartment. Currently I'm renting a home. I don't really know how to describe what side of town I'm on. It's not far from anything. It's definitely in Charlotte. It was built in 2020 and I'm renting it, but it's still pretty small. Like on the inside it looks like an apartment, but it's just a house. And I live on a very cookie cutter street, so all the houses look the same. And I'm renting it for $2,000 a month currently, for a 3-bedroom, and you live.
So, like I told you, I was getting to the coin. And so I decided, I didn't want to stay in North Charlotte no more. I wanted to be closer to where things happen. Only for me to sit in the house because I don't really go anywhere. But I live on, I think it's what's considered the west side of Charlotte now, but close to Uptown. I actually can see the football stadium from my patio. And so when I first moved here last September, my rent was around $1,500 for a 1-bedroom. I was trying to get a house. It didn't work out. So I ended up having to re-sign my lease, and rent went up for a 1-bedroom, again, y'all, $1,700.
From what was it when you first moved here?
I want to say it was around 15.
So it went up about $200 a month. And I have a friend who lives in North Charlotte, and his apartment is not luxury either. And he pays, don't quote me on it. I want to say $1,200 a month, maybe, or maybe he's paying $1,400 a month. He was paying $1,200. He lived there for a year, and the rent went up. I just know for a fact his rent went up $200 the next year. So if you want to come to Charlotte, just know that your rent is going to increase. Charlotte is prime real estate right now. I'm afraid to see what my rent may go up to. I'm really praying that the situation works out for me where I can buy this home. But if it doesn't, I have no clue what I'm going to do. To be honest, it is expensive.
Even saying that, our friend that live in Concord,
yeah,
her rent went up $200 in a year as well, and she lives in Concord, which is not even in Charlotte.
Right? Yeah,
it's like the outskirt,
right?
And so it's just, I don't know if it's post-pandemic inflation or what's the cause, but it's going up.
As far as lifestyle, we see a lot of these nurse TikTokers who are majority travelers. Now, these women are able to travel because maybe they don't have children, or they don't mind not sleeping in their bed, or if they don't mind the downside of traveling and their situation permits for them to travel. So they are able to live the very luxurious lifestyles. They're able to buy the nice bags. They're able to travel the world and afford those things because their lifestyle permits. So how would you say you are, what is your lifestyle right now? First of all, I guess I don't know how I'm trying to ask, but what is it that you feel like you aren't able to do, or that it's kind of hard for you to do, or I don't know.
With the current work, how I currently work?
Yeah, what did you have to give up?
Oh man, I had to give up everything, y'all. So, I don't know. It was, so, I don't know how to describe it. But, like, when I first moved here, like, I was, I don't know, I don't know how I'm trying to ask, but, like, what is it that you feel like you aren't able to do, or, like, that it's kind of, like, hard for you to do, or, I don't know. With the current work, how I currently work?
So
When I started traveling, I was able to basically afford things I couldn't afford before. So when I first moved to Charlotte, in my little 1-bedroom, I didn't have furniture. I only had bed. So then when I started traveling and I moved to this apartment, I was able to get furniture. I was able to, kind of, I feel like start living a little bit more. I was able, like I said, I was able to save. I took like 2 trips, and I was just having like a really good time. I felt like I was able to breathe.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
But now in this current situation I'm in, don't get me wrong, I pay my bills. My bills are paid. Shout out to my sis Tammy.
Right.
But it's just now I have to be like a lot more strategic. Like I have to cook more often than I would like.
Yeah.
I have to, say no a lot to going out and doing things just because it's like I know this check got to get me 2 weeks. Like this Friday, I'm not gonna get paid again. So this check got to I have to stretch.
Yeah, to stretch it out,
a lot
less
more.
further. Yeah.
So I can't shop like I want to. Can't hang out like I want to. I'm not able to travel because I just don't have it. And it's like I could work more, but then if I'm working more, then I don't have the time to do the things that I want to do.
Or really take care of yourself. Like it's hard when you work a lot of overtime. So that's kind of going back to what I was saying about a lot of the people that you guys see on TikTok that are like nurses that are living these luxury lifestyles. They either are like travelers, or maybe they have higher degrees, like they're nurse practitioners. They own their own businesses, or they work a lot of hours. And if you are a regular registered nurse in the city of Charlotte, if you want to be able to live in a decent apartment, I know that everybody doesn't need luxury, but if you want to be safe, like Charlotte is the crime rate in Charlotte is very high just because it's a high population of people. And so you want to live somewhere that you feel safe, especially if you are a single individual. And you want to be able to, it's no point in moving to a city that has all of these, festivities and things to do. Yeah, of course, you got to be disciplined and kind of like not do too much or overindulge, but you do want to go out on a weekend and just enjoy yourself because you're living in a big city, and that's part of the reason why you want to move here, for like the nightlife or the entertainment or just the fun things to do in general, the football games, the basketball games. No, you don't have to do everything, but you want to be able to enjoy your life. So in order to live in a safe place and pay the utilities also, the taxes on your car and everything are a little bit higher. You just basically have to work a lot if you're a registered nurse. But there are some ways to get out of the loophole. I'm hoping that I can get into school soon. And what is your plan for you, Danita? Like, how do you see yourself getting out of the rabbit hole here?
My way to get out of the rabbit hole is to leave bedside nursing. Me personally,
yeah.
I'm no longer happy there, and I just I'm ready to leave. So I have been looking at other options. I've been looking at starting a business, and that's hard because you need money to start a business.
Yeah.
So it's like it's either I try to get like a second job, or I try to pick up hours, but to me that would take away from my energy, my willpower to want to start the business, because I'm working so much. Like working a 12-hour shift for more than 3 days a week is really rough.
It's very rough
on your body.
Yeah.
And on your mental as well. Like, first of all, working 12-hour shift at any point is mentally draining. But that's another topic for another video.
Yeah.
But for me, I want to get away from the bedside. I feel like working at bedside, being just a nurse, you can only grow so much. It's not much growth working at a hospital. Like once you reach a management role, it's like, okay, what's next? And like, do I want to keep doing this for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
So I know I'm not interested in that. So I feel like for me, I would like to start my own business. Find a way to get some residual income. That's also like number one on my list of things I need to do
Mm-hmm.
because, like we've already mentioned, I do not want to work. So
Yeah.
I need to find a way to make money in my sleep because I just don't want to work.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, so some passive income for
yeah,
sure.
so I'm gonna need that. But first things first, like I just mentioned, like I really want to start my own business. And after talking to a few people in the industry that I want to get into, because I still want to use my nursing license, I have found out that it's kind of hard to break into that industry. So, you know, I'm hitting a wall right now, but I'm not gonna give up.
No,
I'm gonna figure something out.
It's gonna work. It's gonna work for sure. So, but that show, I mean, that's basically, it's not very many ways though to get out of it other than going back to school or starting a business. So y'all, we're definitely going to pray for Danita that this business opens up for her. I think she'll do really well at it. Danita is one of the most organized, on-time people that you will ever meet. I'm telling you. So we just needed to work out. So another question that someone asked was, have you thought about switching to a higher paying specialty than traveling after you have enough experience? Other than your business, I don't think you want to switch specialties, do you?
No, I did. So this was another dilemma I had. Before I left to go travel, I was trying to switch to women's or do labor and delivery or women's health. And I just wanted the money.
Yeah,
So
I understand.
I left to go travel. And then when I came back, I thought about, or I wanted to go back that same route again, but it was just, for one, in the hospital we work at, to be starting labor and delivery, they want you to start on nights. And I worked nights for my first contract, 13 weeks, and I just knew that's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then too, I didn't want to go back staff because going from 80 to 50 to 30 definitely would have not been.
And having to work every other weekend, you would have been so miserable.
Yes.
That's sad though, because that would be your ideal job, but they make it so unattainable because it's like you have to be a fresh new grad nurse to want to accept those kind of terms and conditions, or really be able, like, want to do that type of nursing. Like, you have to be passionate about it. Or maybe you're just married and your husband will take care of the other half of the bills for you to be able to take a huge pay cut like that, because that's sad, especially with all the liability there are on labor and delivery nurses, knowing that those nurses are still getting paid basically like the minimum wage of nursing. Is horrible. As far as me, I don't really have the desire to change my specialty. Med-surg is where I started. It's what I know. It's what I feel like I kind of excel at now, just because that's what I've been doing. I do want to go back to school and get my nurse practitioner. So I guess that would be kind of a change in specialty. And I guess with this, I think I'm going to go ahead and accept this job, but I was offered a job with like operating room kind of experience, and I think I'll do that, but that'll be a whole nother video for a different day. But I guess since we're talking about pay, they are offering me $44.50, which I feel like, because we've applied, both of us have been applying for other jobs outside of the hospital, and all of those jobs, the pay is, you know, about the same as the hospital. So it's like the only benefit to making more money in the hospital is that you can work overtime, or sometimes you can work double time, whereas a lot of other nursing jobs, if they're not at a facility like a nursing home or something like that, you have to, you don't get any overtime. But shoot, who wants to do that anyway? Who wants to do that anyway? So I guess the last question we had here is, do you like Charlotte? After all that, do you like Charlotte?
I absolutely love Charlotte. There's always something to do. Now, whether you get to do it or not, that's a different question.
Right.
You know, but there's always something to do. I feel like every night of the week, you could, every night of the week, every day of the week, you could find something to get into, some place to go.
Right.
Something to do. We got 3 sports teams. You know, we got the soccer team, football team, and the basketball team.
Yeah.
And it's just, and it's growing. Like, it's only gonna get better, I feel like, from here. I also like it because, as you can tell, we are, you know,
Black.
African Americans.
Yeah,
and
that's my favorite part.
I feel like it is a lot of African Americans in Charlotte versus where I moved from. I mean, my hometown is small. All the black people know each other pretty much, but here it's just like a lot of black people everywhere. Like even seeing like black nurses all the time is something I really enjoy.
Yeah, you don't see that everywhere else.
So yeah, I love Charlotte. I can see myself until I get a husband and he might say, you know, we need to move elsewhere. I can see myself living here for a good while.
For a good while. Yes, I feel like if I can get these bills in check, will definitely stay in Charlotte. I moved here from a town I lived in a small town. I grew up in a small town, but then I went to school in Winston-Salem, which is about an hour and a half from Charlotte. But it did not have the amount of black people or things for black people to do like Charlotte does. And those are my exact same reasons for loving Charlotte. It's always somewhere to eat. It's always something to do. It's always someone you haven't met. It's a lot, and it's something for everybody. Like I'm in the running. You in small towns, you're not gonna find too many black people who are in the running. They got running groups. I'm into creative stuff. They have lots of different art shows and all. They have something for everybody. So I do not regret moving to Charlotte as a nurse, not one bit. I just feel like it's making me have to really use my brain and figure out how to get to the bag, because I do feel like right now in this moment that it is worth the struggle. I don't regret going to nursing school at all. I am ready to step away from the bedside, and I don't regret moving to Charlotte at all. I don't plan on moving from Charlotte unless, like you said, God sets it up to where I either have to or, you know, it's a good decision for me to go. So yeah, I definitely love Charlotte. I definitely love Charlotte, North Carolina. So I think we did good, Danita. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think we covered a lot.
Yeah.
This is a really good topic. Something like Shanice mentioned, we talk about all the time anyway. So.
Right. So anything else you want to say to the people? Any topics you think we missed?
I don't think so. I mean, if you think about coming to Charlotte, come on. It's really a nice place to live, a really nice place to have fun.
Buying a house is not very easy.
It's not.
Buying a house is not very easy.
But again, you know,
if you can do it, do it.
Yeah.
If you can do it, do it.
And if you're a nurse, come on down. You'll fit in somewhere.
You'll always have a job, of course.
Always. Whether you like it or not, that's debatable. But you'll have one.
You'll have to come and find your own way of getting to the bag like we are right now.
Right. Right. And hey, if y'all know of any way to help us get to the bag,
please comment down below.
In the comments.
We would love to have more ways to get to the bag.
We are open to suggestions.
Okay, so I am going to call this video a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, I did say this in the beginning, please subscribe to my channel. Please like this video. And if you know anybody that's into nursing or wants to move to Charlotte, I feel like we touched on both living in Charlotte and being nurses. So please send this video to them. And I appreciate you staying tuned to the end of the video. Peace.
Bye.